What's up, Soul Warriors? Welcome to Winning Wednesday Live with LC and you. If you're watching this part of this broadcast, more than likely you are watching the replay, and I want to thank you so much for allowing me, LC, and Recovery Soul Food, Hope and Recovery Network, just all of us to be a part of your amazing, evolving recovery, healing journey. It means so much to me that you would even stop by here and watch this video in any way, shape, or form you watch it, or when you watch it. Because whenever you watch it, whether it's a Winning Wednesday or a Motivation Monday or a Free Your Mind Friday, it doesn't really matter, because when it's meant for you, it will come into your awareness and your reality. So on today's Winning Wednesday, I want to talk about judgment. I want to talk about failure, and I want to talk about guilt, and how that all three of those things create this cycle that seems to keep us stuck in this lack of awareness of how powerful we are over our own happiness, over our own healing, and over our own recovery. Because for me, as many of you know, recovery is not just about staying clean and sober from minute to minute. It's literally about deep healing the roots of what causes us to run there as a coping mechanism. Because I believe if you can heal those roots and awaken to the issues that keep us going in that direction, then we can heal those things and not always just be barely outrunning relapse. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be afraid that relapse is around the corner of every life circumstance from here until the time I take my last breath. For me, that's just too much. It takes away the purpose for me. In fact, I've tried that many times before in my past, and it honestly led me to relapse, and then has led me here. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you feel led and you like what you hear here, then please feel free to share this video out across any platform that you are associated with. If you know people that would resonate with our message, or that, seems to be in some kind of transition with one foot in each side and not really sure where to go, then share this message with them. I promise you it's going to be different than most recovery messages that you hear in this current reality. But we're all taking off to know who we truly are in this light, which is a person, a soul of love. And we want to give to other people that which we have come through and learned how to navigate in a way that is far more pleasant than living under the destruction of the emotions of our past, the emotions of what we feel is our reality right now. And we're going to talk about the judgment of that and what makes it good and bad also in today's video. And we're also going to talk about some ways that we can begin to conquer that. I mean, we've all been stuck in that rut. There is nothing to feel guilty or ashamed of. I mean, honestly, until we know, we don't know. And, I lived in that hell of my own judgments and associations of my past abuse, trauma, relapses, use, everything. I lived in that trap myself for so many years. And I'm grateful now to be out And I'm even more grateful to try to help give you some information, inspiration, and motivation to take control of your own life today and pull yourself out. So, if all of you are ready to get this Winning Wednesday on, then let's do it. What's up, Soul Warriors? I'm LC, and I'm so grateful to be here with you on another Winning Wednesday in the year 2021. I can tell you guys the honest truth. I never thought that I would be saying, that I'm alive in 2021. I never in a million years thought that I would be doing something like this. I mean, talking to some of the most amazing human beings I will ever have the pleasure of connecting with, talking about healing and how to turn tragedies into triumphs, man. I mean, that just wasn't my bag. I thought that, like a lot of people think, that we got to play the hand we're dealt. And, however it rolls out is how it rolls out. And what a hopeless statement that is. What a hopeless belief. Worse than the statement, what a hopeless belief system that is. And I know because I lived there where every day that my eyes popped open, I was angry about it. I thought, okay, here's another day of the same old, the why me, the constant replaying of abuse that I feel like has made my life a tragedy, to sit with that same, victim consciousness and think about all the things that messed my life up, feeling completely powerless to do anything about it. And, there's no judgment for me on anyone who is in that space right now. In fact, my heart goes out, and that's part of my soul mission, is to help people that are still there understand and know that you do have the power to get out. Now, I want to start today's video. Number one, let me say some good mornings, because you all deserve the shout outs. You are such a loyal family to me, to yourselves, to each other. It's a beautiful thing. And that's what makes me the most happy, honestly. So good morning, Livy, Joni, Mary. Oh, what's up, Maddie J, my brother from another mother in the house. I love that kid. I love that kid. Whoever knew I'd be old enough to call another grown man a kid, right? I didn't plan to be this age, right? I thought every day was okay. Joni Faulkner, good morning. I've already said you. And Zoe Craig. And if there's anyone here that I don't see, it's just because I'm on StreamYard and they choose who I get to see. Alicia Lee's here, Supergirl in the house. It's so good to see all of you. And I cannot thank you enough for just the loyalty that it takes to keep coming back to get your healing. It's not about me. It's not about the words I spout out. Honestly, it's about you loving yourself enough to get into that deep healing. And, I don't fault anyone who is not there yet. We are moving into an more awakened Christ consciousness. I can tell you it's going to kind of get a little bit worse and shakier before it gets better. But here's the thing. There is bright hope for what's to come. And more people right here in this recovery community are going to be the ones to carry that flag of love and acceptance and of healing and of tragedy to triumph message out to the world. So understand you're in a prime place for the rise up to happen. This is a revolution. I've said it for years because I know that you are the most talented, caring human beings on earth. It's part of the reason why you've gone through these types of battles in your life, in all honesty, because there's an empathic message there that so many people in the world are desperate to hear and desperate to see and desperate to know. And who better to bring it out to them? And it's why I am so I stay so on top of the recovery community, especially about the acceptance of one another, the seeing ourselves in each other, one human to another, the to leave the diversity and all of that out of this community, because we have a valuable job to do. You see, it seems like it's been the normals that have set the tone for the world, right? It's the ones that we see that have told us what a best life looks like, right? Those are the ones that you've got the deeper information to help. Because while we're walking around thinking their lives are perfect, they're falling apart. They don't know how to be authentically who they are. And you right now may be feeling so covered up under life, you have no choice but to be who you truly are. Because if you don't accept all of what has come with your life and your addictions and your coping skills and all of those things, if you don't accept those things as part of you, part of your soul path, see them as the soul's way of saying, failure is the soul's way of saying there is a better way. And the slippery slope of guilt is that guilt can be a good thing in the most minute dose and for the most minute time. Because here's that slippery thing about guilt. Guilt is that indicator that, hey, maybe I need to make amends for that. And it's a great neon sign that flashes in on a place in your life that you can fix a behavior. So, if you've been with me a long time, my definition of an apology is not only making amends, but correcting the behavior and knowing why within you. See, that's the awareness part, that when I came to that realization, I wasn't quite as aware as I am now. We're in a constant evolving of ourselves. And, if you're not aware of that, how that guilt feels and how it can hide within you, and it can come up to be one of those things where, okay, you've made the amends, you've corrected the behavior. Now what happens when that memory comes up? Does the guilt rise up with it? Do you still feel terrible and bad and all those things? That's when guilt becomes very destructive. And it is a devil in sheep's clothing, let me tell you. Because we know we need a certain amount of guilt to be able to tell us, oh, okay, well, that was not so good. And okay, but how do we then become and keep ourselves aware enough to eradicate it when it comes up? Because just because we make amends doesn't mean it goes away. It is one of those things. When I say we fight spiritual warfare, that is one of those things that is involved in that umbrella of that statement, which is those things are still going to try to come up. They are your old story. They are your old programming, what you've grown up to believe, so to speak. And they're not going to go away just with one fell, okay, it's done. We're going to have to be aware of ourselves, where we are, how we're feeling, all of those things to be able to make sure that we can eradicate it. And we can. That's the freedom of how powerful you truly are to come into full-on healing in your life. And so let me start with this. Oh, let me say some more good mornings. Lana Rossman done got Lana up 2 times in a row. I love Lana. Lana says, all right, you woke me up. You better bring it. Bonnie Max, I love you. Tim Cups. Oh, man. I just love all of you. You make me so happy. You really, really do. Even though, we can't depend on outside forces to make us happy. It does really do something to my day to get to see so many amazing people. And, hey, good morning, Jen Brownlee and Lisa Vargas. And to see you guys growing. That's the that's the gift of doing this. It's the only purpose to really do it. It's not a job for me or anything. The purpose is to help other people grow into their own happiness and their own healing, their own recovery. And I love to see what that looks like for all of you, man. I love where we are in recovery because everybody's recovering their own way. And I love it. So let me finally get to what I told y'all I was going to do. So I'm reading this new book. I love to share these books, and we're going to have this amazing all-star on the Recovery Soul Food podcast right after the relationship series that we're getting ready to do. Within the next 2 weeks, we're going to kick off episode 1, Sober Relationship Series, and we start with you. So you got to learn to love yourself before you can truly love someone else in the most healthy way possible. We're going to learn so much. I got Amy Guerrero, expert in sober relationship coaching, and just, she's an amazing human being. I can't wait to share this out with you all. You all inspired it, so I love you. So I am reading this book, You Can Be Perfect or You Can Be Happy by Kareth Foster. Now, Kareth Foster is an outstanding human being. Now, I want to say this to you. Kareth is not necessarily in recovery from substance, but the information in this book, that for every word that I read, it reminds me that whether in recovery or never touch substance in your life, whether black, white, brown, gay, straight, trans, Christian, non-Christian, spiritualist, whatever, at the core, we are all human beings with our own struggles for the same thing: love, acceptance, to be seen, to be heard, to be significant in the world, to achieve happiness. We're all looking for that, regardless of what our shells are doing. And that's why I bring you information like this to help with your healing and recovery journey. So we're going to have Kareth on in February. I cannot wait. So I want to read this. You are responsible for your happiness. In fact, you create it, you attract it, you manifest it. You are the architect of your reality. You choose your thoughts, your perceptions, and your reaction to external forces. You possess all the tools needed to expand your awareness, to orchestrate the evolution of your consciousness, to choose happiness, to choose love. You are that powerful. Create the life you deserve. And that was a quote from Craig Crippen, I think. And that's how this book starts off. And that's generally, that really is all that we're actually looking for, is happiness. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I use substance, I use to fast track my way to a feeling of well-being and happiness. I called it an escape from my normal reality, which was really my mindset. And my mindset had been built in trauma. It had been built in a feeling of disconnect from my fellow human beings. Anytime you are different and you know that you are not like everybody else that you see in your environment, you become, you feel as though you have a secret to hide. And for many people that have been, have experienced abuse in childhood, they also feel like they have a secret to hide, that if people know this about me, they can't accept me. If they see, they can somehow see it. That's what I used to think. Oh, people can see that I'm being abused. People can see, that I'm gross, or, and we begin to hide. And not only are we hiding from the outside world, we're hiding from ourselves. And we bury that little self just as deep as we can. And the reason I believe so many of us turn to substance is, again, because we've packed ourselves so full of these hurts and heartaches that we have no more room. And then we become just raw nerves, and we don't realize that our thoughts move into producing our emotions. Because understand this, the next time you are feeling an emotion, your thoughts had to come first. So thoughts produce emotions, and emotions produce, attitudes and moods. And then it goes into over and over and over again of the same thing day in and day out becomes our personality. And I like how Dr. Joe Dispenza says personality equals your personal reality. So when we're living in that space of, I have to be afraid of people, people will hurt me, I've got to put up this guard, I've got to protect my secrets because if anyone knows, they'll reject me, all of these things, we build this fortified fortress around ourselves, and we don't really know that laying all around us are hammers and chisels to get ourselves out of this. But, I called this video today about judgment because it's really, if you hear anything that is pretty constant in everything that I've just said about our past, our emotions, and how we move into that vicious cycle, is that all of that involves the judgment of those happenings, those things. You, as a person, you judge yourself weak. You judge yourself powerless. You judge these situations and these people as dangerous, even before they give you, reason to feel that way. And as we know, you call it what you like, but the law of attraction is what it is, and it's always working. And I talk about it a lot simply because it's always in effect. And most of what we're seeing right now are gurus push on us how to use the law of attraction as some kind of magic wand or something to get more material possessions. And that's just not actually the truth. It can, yes, you can use it for that, but people can use the law of gravity to do, things as well. So I want to let us know that it is not just in effect when we are actively using it. It's in effect always. Because even in the science of cognitive behavior, it begins with the thoughts that go to the emotions, and the emotions produce reactions. And the judgment of that happening is what decides how you react. So where you are in your awareness is how you're going to react to this. Well, as we do this over and over, our thoughts and our emotions bring us and attract to us back the same things. It's why we keep attracting the same partners. It's why we can attract drugs in the middle of a monk fest. I'm not the only one. Did you not used to think that you somehow invisibly had, hey, looking or drug user written across your forehead, and how people were just able to find you out of nowhere? That's because, in effect, is the law of attraction, and what you desire, what you put your thoughts mixed with emotions with, is what you put out. And that's what will come back to you every time. It has no choice. And until we really know this, we think we're just damned in life. I truly believed I was God's little joke. It doesn't even resonate with me anymore at this point to say that. But there was a time when I felt it so strong that you would not have convinced me. And if you tried to shake me up on that, or you tried to, if you tried to come against me on that, I would fight you to the death to actually stand on that belief system. Because when we are identified fully with our pain, identified with our emotion, when we have judged it a certain way, and we are now identified with that life, you can't shake me off of that. It will generally take something much higher up than another person to shake you off out of that awareness. And it's not until we really take responsibility for our own happiness, and that's scary too, y'all. Who wants to think that it really is up to them? I remember being so confused about that because I had learned and actually connected myself to that external higher power. And it was so much easier to think that that external thing was going to do it all for me. But it only lended itself back to that belief system that I was the little joke, that nothing I ever wanted ever came back. But until I realized that it is that higher power within, that creator within, that has me breathe power, that allows me to judge every situation that comes into my life as a beautiful opportunity for growth. If you don't hear anything I say in 2021 but this, I want this to be your affirmation and your mantra, that within every opposition has been given the gift of, in a form of a seed of opportunity. That opportunity is, how will you judge this happening? Will you judge it according to your old story that says, see, nothing ever goes right for me? Or will you judge it according to your true soul's story, your soul, your new emerging story that says, whew, this is uncomfortable, but most all growth is uncomfortable until we actually master it. And what brings more optimism? Thinking, this is my lot in life. Yep, this just keeps coming. Or thinking, I will take this and I will grow with this. I will not just suffer for suffering's sake. Because who wants to stay clean in that mindset? Who wants to every day deny yourself your one fast track to happiness, only to believe that happiness is not available to you? That makes me sad. It really does, because I know I went there so many times because I just thought that it was the tangible addiction that was the problem with my entire life. And that if I could just remove that, everything would be perfect. And it was so disappointing every time I realized that just because I took away the substance, I was still the same miserable person underneath. And that, my friends, is the beauty of real, true recovery. And when you move and grab at that old coping skill again in the midst of your growth and in the midst of your evolution, when you do that, what's the purpose of you holding on to guilt? Because the guilt, remember, a devil in sheep's clothing says, hey, you need me so you don't make this mistake again, or we get caught in the judgment of the failure and we can't get over it. And then we don't come back to the healing side of this journey. We have to understand that guilt has no glory past that one indication of, this is not in alignment. Whatever action I just took is not in alignment with my soul's purpose. It is not in alignment with me and my higher power in the path that was placed out for me. So I'm going to identify it. I'm going to see it for what it is. I'll make amends where it is safe for me to do so. And then I'm going to correct the behavior. Y'all, excuse me. Y'all got me excited this morning. I'm all choked up. So that's guilt's job. And anything after that, what else can you do with it? So don't just let it lay around in the back of your cabinet somewhere. I mean, how many of us have cleaned out our cabinets and found stuff that you're just like, what in the world is this doing here? Because it was pushed back. Because eventually what happens is you end up having some kind of mess from some bottle you've put in the back of your, cleaning closet, or something that, ends up bringing itself to the forefront for it to be noticed. So many times that's what a lot of these happenings in our lives are. They're on our healing journey, and you've got to trust that you're on your healing journey. Okay. You got to trust that that's the journey that you intend to be on, and you are walking on it. And so the things that come into your reality are there to draw attention to some places that might be hiding in the corners, in the shadows of the inside of you. And we've got to trust that that is divine wisdom that is being brought out of you. And that with everything you go through, man, grow through, with everything emerges the real you. We don't really know ourselves. We don't. We start out as just pure consciousness, just this innocent bundle of jabber and drool. And it's from that moment on that we begin to start shaping, who we are. But it's not until we get into a place like, man, active addiction, where your back's against the wall and you say, I can't live like this anymore, that you realize, now I want to align with me. I want to know who I really am. My soul's purpose to be here as a human being is to embody and embrace love, the love of everything, not just everyone, but everything. Knowing that I'm here at this time in history for a valid reason. Every single person with breath in their body in this moment right now, you have a reason to be here. Get excited about what it is. You don't have to try to, there's a danger in the self-help guru community that says that we have to only focus on, these dreams and constantly be moving to it. I think what happens there is we forget to be present. And we think that our happiness lives inside of a goal that is coming to us eventually, or that we're working towards. And it reminds me of the most awesome cartoon I've ever watched, ever. And it's a new one on Disney called Soul. If you haven't watched it, just watch it. I love where we are in humanity and with consciousness. Anyway, the main character thinks that the only reason he's here is to be a jazz pianist, and he finally gets his big dream, his big goal, and it happens. And his exact words are, I thought that it would be better. I thought that I would be happier. I thought that, and the reality is that happiness is a choice. Happiness is an intention. Happiness is what we can strive for, and strive to be happy in any and all circumstances in life. Not to pretend that hard shit doesn't happen, but to learn how to go through it with trust, knowing that it too is moving you forward in your soul's evolution. And yes, it is amazing to have goals and dreams, but please do not forget to enjoy the moments that you have now, because who's to say that you're going to make it to that far off goal? And what happens if you get there and you realize that you did not enjoy the time that you have, that you did not enjoy all that you have right now. There's a beautiful balance to life. It's a dance. It's the beautiful rhythm of you breathing in and out without having to will it to be so, without having to manifest it to be so. You don't have to manifest your next breath. It happens to you. And if we don't learn how to really become truly connected with the gratitude that is our life, to yes, dream of a greater tomorrow, but remember to be the best you today and right now possible for you where you are. And don't always think something's wrong with you. Don't always think you've got to be working towards, wherever it is that you're going or however it is. Don't always think that you're doing everything wrong. I talk to you from my heart on that one because, I do that to myself. I have to constantly reel myself back in and think, hey, LC, you're doing enough, man. What else can you really be doing? And be careful to ask that question because, the old mind likes to answer questions and they'll go, well, you could be doing this and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. We can take so much wisdom from the chatter sometimes of the mind. And if we change our questions, what we know is we can change the answers. And the mind is like Google. When you ask it a question, it does its best to answer that question most efficiently. It doesn't judge what's positive or negative in your world. That's for you to do. You ask a question, it starts throwing out answers. And so if we change our questions, many times we'll change our life and our perceptions. And remember today that your perception equals your experience on things. And the thing that creates perception is judgment. How will you judge the happenings and the people that are in your life today, that come into your reality today? Will you judge it as negative and the same old crap and I can't ever catch a break? Will you judge these people as always out to get me, always out to bother me, always out to aggravate me, always out to knock me off my positive vibe? Or will you judge it as this is an amazing opportunity for growth? And it may not feel like, a warm bath or massage, but either way, I know that I'm right where I'm supposed to be, that this is happening to emerge and illuminate something in me that I can still be working on. I can still keep a smile on my face because that's my choice. I don't think anything or anyone is out to get me. I can judge this as all being for me. Life is happening through me and not to me. And that I have the power to choose how I'm going to show up in this world, who I'm going to be, and what my truth is. If we all do that, what a world we will live in. You hear me? Woo, it will be amazing. So I really do love y'all. I really, really do. Remember, failure, let's do that for an affirmation. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Guilt, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. And judgment, I understand that everyone and everything has their own unique path and challenges in this world. And I will see the Creator in every set of eyes that I look into today. And if I feel uncomfortable, I will ask myself, why? What is my fear? What does this draw up in me? And when you ask those questions, guess what? Answers come. And don't be afraid. It's amazing. Oh, okay. Jimmy C in the house. Good morning. Andrea Litton, I love you so much. Hey, y'all. Andrea watches faithfully on the YouTube channel. If you guys are not already a subscriber, please go over to the Recovery Soul Food YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, turn on those notifications so that YouTube knows that you are all about wanting to see more Recovery Soul Food. Good morning, Claire Law and Shirley Martinez. Oh, Shell Bell in the house. Connie Waters. Claire, let I say good morning to you, Claire? I think I did. Good morning, Claire. Stacy K in the house. If I've missed anyone, please forgive me. StreamYard only shows me so many, and I don't see all of you, man, but I feel your energy. I know you guys are just rocking this thing called life. Let's continue to move forward with this recovery revolution, and let's bring healing to the world everywhere. I love you guys so much. Y'all get out of here. Have the most amazing winning Wednesday of your entire life because you choose to, and you do have that much power. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.